The
to
importance of
persons
obedience to God
working
continued, part 3 of 6.
in the kingdom of darkness, that they will operate and try to inflict and so forth, and come against men and women of God. So we must understand, oh glory be to God in the highest. So we see in verse 27, sorry, of St. Matthew 13, it says, so the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? 28. He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? So the servant was saying, should we pull them up? Should we pull them up and try to separate the wheat from the tare? Oh, glory be to God in the highest. Verse 29, but he said, Nay, lest while he gather up to the tares, he root up also the wheat with them. So in verse 29, we see that there was an explanation, and we know that it was Jesus speaking, because it's written in red in the Bible that indicates that it's um, it's the those that are in red. It's the directly God speaking. Glory be to God in the highest. So, verse 30, it says, Let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. So we see that it is telling us in verse 30 that the wheat, which is the good people, glory be to God, those who are bearing good fruits, those who are bearing from good trees, they will be bundled, they will be gathered and placed in the barn, place of safety, place where it will stay. We know that. And we see that the tears, it says, bind them in bundles to burn them. And we must understand that that is talking about, God bless you, that is talking about, those who are told, are those that will hear, Depart from me, I know you not, you worker of iniquity. So let us understand that we have to, understand the importance of obedience, and the importance of being obedient to the Spirit of God, and understand that obedience is better than sacrifice. We must understand that obedience is a significant part of being a child of God. Obedience is significant in, walking with Christ, being Christ-like, ensuring that our lifestyle, the way we talk, the way we walk, the things that we do, that it reflects Christ. So obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience will cause us or enable us to be a good fruit. And we see that it makes reference in St. Matthew 7 that I just read. It makes reference to true and false prophet. And then when I come to St. Matthew 13, that it speaks about the wheat and the tare, the good seed, and that bad seeds are tears were sown in it. So we must understand that God promise is sure, but there are things that we must do on our side, and it's to obey God. We must be obedient, and we understand, we must know that God promised to bless those who obey Him, who are obedient to Him. So let us understand that we must demonstrate our obedience in the way that we live, and that it's something that we must be able to see. We can't say that we're obedient to God and we're not seeing it in the way we live our lifestyle as we walk with Christ. It must be evident, it must be tangible, it must be something that individuals can see, and they can say that surely that person I can see that this person has been renewed and transformed. We can see it in their mannerism, their behaviors, their traits, how they talk to people, how they live their lifestyle, and so forth. Because our life must be a living sacrifice unto the Lord. The way we live our life is telling God whether we are willing to serve Him or not, in spirit and in truth. In order